Hello, hello everybody. So welcome everyone and welcome back. We are excited for the seventh talk of the day. Just as a reminder, there is also a workshop session running in parallel. So if you want to join the workshop session, you need to join the sessions on the left panel. And the session is conducted by Fernanda Romagnoli and Nidhi Mukikar, where you're gonna explore how to be a trend seeker in VUCA environment. So this happens in sessions, and now we welcome everyone again, and a very special presentation by Liza Підопригора. Lisa designs better government services, applying service design in public programs, military innovation, and strategy. She co-organized Ukraine's first HCD conference to help public servants rethink service delivery. Lisa is going to inspire us with a talk on creating human-centered design champions, how practice builds impact in public services. Lisa, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone. I'm happy to see that there's people watching. Not everyone went to the practice part. First of all, I'm going to show you my presentation right now. We're going to go further. But if something technically goes not well, I'm sorry. Yes, because the platform is quite new, even though we try to test it with the team lots of times. So let's go on. And the first thing I want to tell you is that, well, yeah, I'm a young professional in service design from Kyiv, Ukraine. And I have been a professional athlete for years. I did synchronizing swing for 11 years. So it's quite hard for me to sit the whole day near the laptop and barely move. So I can't see your faces right now. I can't see the video of yours, but please, if you can, just put your camera on or don't do it and stretch a little bit. Stretch your hands, your neck, everything. Stretch so we can get ready for the talk today because well, I hope you're gonna have new insights and new ideas, and it's gonna be all interesting for you. So first of all, let's do, after you stretched, I would like you to join the Slido. So you can join just from your phone, and I will right now share the link into the chat, but try to share it, to join it through your phone, or just put the number on the Slido website. So you can just put in the browser slido.com, or just scan the QR code and you will join the Slido right away. So let me also move to share the Slido page so you can also see it. So now you can again see the QR code on your left, and you can already see the first question. Okay, great. I see people joining. Poof, because I was thinking that maybe you will not be able to join. So let's wait for a little bit more for everyone to join. And for those who already joined, there is the first question right away. I don't know, I know that there is lots of different people here. Though some of you are new to service design, some of you have been working in the field for some time. So I want to know the reason why you're here. Do you want to bring service design to your organization? You want to feel more confident applying service design, or you already have been working in the service design, or you want to understand how service design can create more impact, or you're just curious, or you can put your option in the chat if I didn't show it. So please vote, and let's see. Okay, great. There's 16 of us joined already, and let's see some results already. So most of you have been working as a service designer for some time and have been looking for a new inspiration. But there's lots of you who wants to feel more confident. I know that there's also you can vote for several of those. Okay, great. And let's see the second question here. And for those who already have tried applying service design in the organization, and see this is a most of you. So how did it actually feel for you to apply service design. So let's see, what would you say? Like, for those who couldn't join the Slido, you can also share your feelings about applying service design in a chat. If you haven't applied it yet in your organization, you can still see how other people are feeling about that. But yeah, let's see what we have right now. So, challenging but worth it. Yes, exciting, energizing, confusing. Some of you say lonely. Yeah, challenging but worth it. Great. I totally understand you guys, because I have been there, and that's exactly how I also felt. And that's quite one of the reasons why I want to tell you my talk. So let's come back to the presentation itself. Oh yeah, I see someone wrote that you have been learning service design. That's great. So I saw the mix of responses, and I actually know exactly how you feel, because I have been there, and I have been trying to apply service design in organizations, and that's exactly how I felt. I felt a lot of times quite alone, and I felt like I want to dare to impact. I see the potential of service design, but I feel like nobody, only some people can understand me, and how is it to bring service design applying. So the conclusion of talk, in case you will drop out in some part of it, on the question of this, so more designers or more design, I believe more design. And this is not quite a new fresh idea. Leaders like Lodo, who helps to scale service design in UK government, and books like Creative Confidence have explored this challenge for years. And I admire their work, and I got the chance to test it myself. So let's see how I ended up. What did I have in the result? After finishing my master's degree at IE Business School, I came back to Ukraine. Why? Because the reason I even left during the scariest time was actually hope, and hope for a better future for my country. I believed we could win, and that soon the rebuilding would begin. I wanted to be ready with tools, with knowledge, with energies, that everything that can help become Ukraine better. But then soon I realized that war isn't a sprint, it is a marathon, and the one that have been running not just for past 3 years, but actually for already more than a decade. And even though the war continues, the change has already started. I believe that public services should be human-centered, especially during the war, because when people are already living through trauma every day, the last thing they need is a frustrating experience with government services, or actually any services, really. But there I was, a recent graduate with almost no real-world experience in a country of 35 million people with thousands of public service in the middle of the war. So how could I bring service design a system that sometimes doesn't even have enough people, let alone designers? Or how could we start the transformation of public services in Ukraine? We can't just hire service designers for every ministry. Simply, there's not enough people. So together with my team and powered by UNICEF Ukraine, we tried something else. We tested 3 different ways of bringing service design inside the system by not adding new designers, but creating more design. So let me show you one by one what I have learned. I will also show you what have worked and what you should watch out for. So the first approach was to train people and let them apply the service design on their own. We ran 12 3-day workshops for 335 medical workers, teaching them human-centered design through real challenges in vaccination. The first approach was to train people and let them apply service design on their own. So after workshops, they returned to their hospitals, and we had no way of tracking what have happened next. The only source of insights were actually the participants themselves. They started recommending the trainings to their colleagues, and the people from the same institution began showing up for the future workshop. And that's how we started hearing about some changes that have been already made. Each graduate of the training had the chance then to apply for a small grant from UNICEF Ukraine. 15 teams have received the funding, and after a short acceleration program with me, they went on to apply human-centered design on their own. At the first, we didn't know what the come out was from the project, but then we made a quality research and we uncovered something very important. The real driver of success of those teams was actually not the method, like the human-centered design, was actually the team. In very strong project, there were 3 key roles. There was someone very curious, ready to explore and test prototypes, someone who truly believed and had a problem, and someone who can actually unlock resources and make ideas happen. Sometimes it could be one person, but very rarely. It's better, like more works like a team. But it actually with me happened the situation when there was a one person. Meet Natalia. She is a medical director of a regional hospital in Novotroysk, a small town of 10,000 people in Kherson Oblast, southern Ukraine. In 2022, the town was occupied by Russian forces, and Natalia lost her hospital, lost the contacts with all of her patients. Some fled, some stayed, some had no way to reach out with them. So in 2023, she attended our workshop. She got inspired, energized, and she gathered a small team to actually act. So together they found out the way to reconnect with 6,000 people, the patients. They developed a new immunization strategy for temporary displaced people. And along the way, they made it through the HCD process. They did interviews, they test prototypes, and she led her team all over this way. So Natalia actually truly had a problem. She was ready to explore, and she found the resources, the grant, to make the idea happen. So does the teach and let go method work for creating allies in HCD transformation? By the way, HCD, when I say it, is human-centered design. Well, what worked is that we train people by the real problem, so they immediately could apply it. We teach 400 medical workers in just 4 months, which is great. And 15 HCD projects from immunization were applied in 4 months. But what you should watch out for is that some team members that missed the training they treated the research as a formality. And there were always a lack of understanding and quite weak insights in some cases. And also, if you could count by hours, it's quite going to take you time to do the 12 workshops for 3 days during 4 months. However, if we talk about the time effort, for one service designer to do 15 projects independently would actually, I think, take around 1 year. So that's why, after thinking for a while, we in our team decided what if we cut 3 days HCD workshop and we try 1 hour HCD introduction followed by long-term support. So together with UNICEF Ukraine, we co-organized a first ever conference on human-centered design in public services. Over 100 participants joined. And from them, we selected 9 teams to develop projects over 4 months. We focused on improving healthcare and social services in their communities. So most of the teams had never heard of HCD before. So what was their biggest challenge, do you think? Lack of tools or knowledge? That was actually lack of confidence. They kept asking me, like, are we doing this right? So I worked with them as a consultant online, guiding them step by step while they were leading the HCD process by themselves. They conducted interviews, they found real problems, they build and test prototypes. The result I saw recently, because I just recently finished my evaluation of the results, is that every team implemented their solution. And what is more importantly is now the teams are still using the research and prototyping in their everyday work, because those tools were not just effective, but actually doable for them. And let me tell you the story that actually really stuck with me. These pictures are from ChatGPT because I don't have real pictures made from this social service. In 2023, the small social service center named Zmiev the city that is located like 83 kilometers from the front line, received 3,000 displaced people because of war. So this social center had a problem. The staff was overwhelmed, and the initial assumption was that the problem is the queues. So like people are angry because they wait too long. But after the research, the team actually discovered something deeper: the reason and the true audience. So the real problem was not waiting time, but actually the waiting experience. And people got anxious, stressed, and uncomfortable. And then first, team wanted to implement the electronic queue system. But during our session, I helped them to pause and reframe that what is the really best solution for their users, many of whom are elderly or didn't even have smartphones. So instead of doing that, they implemented low-cost human-centered changes, like they created a playroom for children, so moms are not stressed when their child are around them, designed waiting zones, and made Wi-Fi's and TVs for better orientation and comfort. As the center director later told me, I used to get complaints every day. People were angry, but now no one wants to fire me anymore. So not only the environment improved, but actually the team right now is using HCD for the next project with veterans. They already started doing interviews. So does the inspire and support model work? I believe yes, because the intro and long term helped because they were not so overwhelmed and the things were doable. Also, my little support still made them comfortable and give them the confidence, but I didn't take a control over the projects. And the teams itself, they were amazing implementers because they knew what they were doing. But you should watch out for here is that some of the team members who didn't go to the HCD intro were completely lost sometimes because they didn't know the purpose. Some teams needed to work extra hours over on top of their regular jobs, which took them like quite a lot of energy. And some teams felt like there were not enough time for testing and iteration, so they couldn't improve their solutions even further. And let's move on to the third last experiment, which is called like create the right environment. We decided to show what we can do if we just create the place where people could try HCD by themselves. I don't know if all of you know about service-jams. If you don't, you have to check this because the person who is interested in service design have to check it. So our team reviewed the service-jams, which is like a couple of hours workshop where people are trying out the service design on practice. We renewed this culture in Ukraine in 2024 by hosting the Kyiv Jam. And then we committed with UNICEF Ukraine to a big experiment. We decided to bring 100 public servants from 17 regions in Ukraine to teach them service design in just 28 hours. So it was a good scale, but how could we see the long-term impact directly? We almost can't because service jams are about the change of mindset. And yes, participants said that they are using right now things like doing not talking and problems first insights, and that they came back different way. They started working different way from Monday. But what was more important is to hear that people were asking if they could have a government jam again, and because they want to show their colleagues the way they have been working. So this year we ran 11 service jams all around Ukraine, bringing 450 people around the idea of doing more human-centered design. So what worked? Yes, we democratized the design, and the big scale created like a fan base of service design around Ukraine. But what you should watch out for, if you're a person who is like driven only by impact by numbers, this tool is definitely not for you. So I have a bonus for you, a little bonus story, because when I was checking your profiles, I realized that most of you are working as a consultants, and you are actually working with the teams sometimes from within their organization. That's why I wanted to tell you one last example of how we can create allies from inside the organization. But this is not an experiment. This is basically how we work in Lanka. So Comeback, this is a talk about the Comeback Alive organization. This is the biggest Ukrainian foundation that helps our army. And since 2014, they have raised almost 300 million euros and provided things like drones, tech, and trainings and support to soldiers on front lines. So we at Lanka support their work regularly. And one day we got to know the team, and they asked us to help them to understand their donors better. We led a quality research and idea generation sessions with them to receive the communication strategy. The whole project, the foundation team was alongside with us. We were doing together with them in-depth interviews, synthesis, and brainstorming. So obviously, the team leadership didn't become the service designers. It was not our goal. But they did start thinking differently about who they serve and how they engage with their community. The result of the project are really actually already deep inside the new marketing strategy, because we as a consultant work with the team, not for them. So what have worked? Working with a team, not for them, helped to build the trust and ownership, and the results already inside the work of the organization. But what you should watch out for is that this matter requires a lot of work from service designer to develop a deep empathy to your clients and to help them to feel on through each step. And also the team dedicated around 60 hours of their work. So it was a lot for them. So you have to, as a service designer, to make this work for them easier. Over explanation tools work the best. So we come back to the conclusion of the talk. More design or more designers? I believe in more design. And why I'm saying more design is, I mean that more design, it means more people inside the system who shift their perspective, and the people who are using service like human-centered design tools to solve everyday challenge differently. Because together with public servants around Ukraine, we have created 21 projects and trained almost 700 people in just 1.5 years, which is a great result as for one service designer. So these 3 experiments showed us that there is no one way to scale service design if you actually dare to impact on the big scale. But you have to find your right context. But for me, the biggest takeaway would be that I can't be everywhere. I can't be everywhere, and I just can't clone myself. But if every person I have trained so far inspires one more person, the design spreads on its own. So if you truly want to dare to impact in public services, I think we don't need more designers. I think we need more allies inside the system who think like designers and can drive the change from within. Because service design in the very end is not like a profession, is more a mindset. So if you could drop in the chat right now, like what actions would you try to do differently next week, maybe from this perspective, that would be amazing. I will go out from my presentation and see your comments, because right now I can't see them. And the last thing I want to say that, what about my allies? I didn't do everything on my own. I have obviously all of these experiments. And I want to say that a big thank you to UNICEF Ukraine's Social Behavioral Change Department, who believed in human-centered design and could change the public services, and who supports my idea constantly. And thanks to my team, especially Lechkos for bringing design into government, and Natasha Smatko for co-leading with me 12 workshops, and Maria Yeremenko for running with me 11 service design jams. But of course, first of all, thank you to Ukrainian Armed Forces for making it all possible for us during doing this all work. Because if not them, I even would not be able to try these 3 experiments and tell you them right now. So if you believe in a more human-centered design world, as I believe, and I think we should support the people who are making it possible, please consider donating to Come Back Alive, this NGO who supports Ukraine fight for freedom. I have this QR code here, but I know you will not be fast enough to scan it, so we'll leave the link for it in the chat also. But also thank you for the big support that we already received from Europe and everywhere to Ukraine. And if you can't donate any sum of money, you can also share the part of this talk today and also ask your community to support Ukraine. Thank you very much, and let's keep in touch. I will also share my details in the chats because if you will not be able to have it right now, but I will share it. And thank you so much for having me here. I hope I feel like I talked very fast. I hope you still could get the main idea ahead.
Thank you, Lisa. That was really inspiring. We have some questions, and I think we have still a couple of minutes to take them. From Lucia Sosa, such an interesting and inspiring case study, Lisa. How did you manage to bring UNICEF into the picture?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, that was work from two sides. Actually, I was not like when I came to the organization Lanka.CX, they already started partnering with UNICEF. So kind of like UNICEF Department of Social Behavioral Change, they heard about what is Lanka is doing because there's not so many organizations who are doing service design in Ukraine. So they reached out to them and they try to partner. So basically, it's because there are people who are very interested in human-centered design there, and they saw what we can do and what we have worked, and we showed them the results, and we helped them to prove to the donors and team how that this approach works. So this is how we brought them even more along with us. Yeah, but this is a great question.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think we can take another one. Hi, Lisa. How did you manage expectations among stakeholders who might not have understood what service design could offer?
Well, I would start from not saying a word service design and trying to hear what they actually like. What is their problem? Like, first of all, you just need to ask them what happens. Like, you have to feel like their pain. What is their kind of need they need to close, and then you have to say what you want to kind of do with them without using these hard designers words like service design indeed. So yeah, I would I was always trying to be very visual to them also. Like if I want to manage like the expectation, I would show visually on my road board or like in a document or like in a presentation, like what I want to do, what I plan to do, or what I see as a change in the future. And I would ask them to make comments, like to tell me like if this is what they expect, if this is the right thing. And I have like, you also have to be kind of ready for them to be not do not agree with you from the first sight. So this is also okay. So yeah, I would, to sum up, first of all, try to tell them what you wanted to do without words like service design, more simpler way. And second, be visualize what you want to do and ask them to comment that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. These are really great tips. I think we are just right on time. So thank you so much, Lisa. It was really inspiring, and also personally to me as a Polish person and as your neighbor and friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You so much. To join Dare to Reflect Jam in sessions where we are going to explore trends, imagine possible futures, and reflect a little bit on your impact as designers. And this activity is run by my colleague Nikita Arora and myself. So let's see you there. After that, we're gonna head to a break.